What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locker Room Rant. I'm your host, John V, and with me today is interrupting Nick. Nick, say hello. What's up?
How's it going? It's been a while. We've had a couple weeks that we've been off. As I don't know if any of you know, or my buddy John here is getting married here shortly, so we've had a lot going on. We had a bachelor party this past weekend, and it was fantastic. Las Vegas, Nevada. Great place. First time we've ever been there, me and John. I need to go back. What about you, John?
You need to go back and get your money back.
I purchased something in Vegas. I purchased something in the Bellagio or the Paris or something like that. I know
he purchased a plot. He purchased a plot. I'll tell you what, family. If you haven't been, disappoint the wife. Disregard the kids' tuition and go. Just go and blow it all. Have a blast doing it, and make many mistakes and live with them, because that's all you get when you come back to your residing state.
What was your favorite part of Vegas, John? This was your day. What was your favorite? This was your thing. So what was your favorite part?
I would say the man. There's a lot. I would say probably the Venetian. Well, Caesars and the Venetian were probably two of the most incredible structures in all of Vegas. They're just the architecture is intense. Vegas was built on all of our mistakes and all of our losses. So it's top notch. You really can't beat it. It's incredible. But at the end of the day, the Venetian, Caesars, MGM, Paris, the Bellagio's buffet was phenomenal. That might be my favorite. The buffet at the Bellagio was probably my favorite.
Now, mind you, John was against buffets. John's not a buffet person.
No.
I kind of forced him to do the buffet, and now all of a sudden he's in love with it. Vegas buffets are kind of a staple. We didn't even get to go to the dinner buffets. We just kind of went to the brunch buffets, but they were great.
I stayed under the influence as much as possible. I stayed under the influence or something in between, because I'm still on Vegas time. What's going on, fam? Joel, good to see you, family. I see you there. Cool, Nick. Welcome back, brother. Gammon, I see you, my man. Eduardo, good to see you. Tony, you keep up keeping up, my man. I appreciate you, bro, and you know why.
Tony
Masri.
Tony was a little busy. Tony's a little busy doing stuff for the wedding, so he couldn't hop on, but he's with us. He's with us on the chat. So,
Masri, good to see you, brother. Scott, old tired legs is back. I see in the building, huh? JT, hell of a draft. I can't wait to talk about that. Man, Vegas was good to us, family. We had a blast. Get your asses out there. Go lose your money. Quit your job, leave your wife, ruin the kids' college future, go to Vegas, make as many mistakes as you can, and learn to live with them. Listen, let's catch up with the draft. The Niners made some moves. The Browns made some moves.
We had kind of a similar position in the draft, because we both our teams didn't have first or second round picks, either of us. So it's also kind of a thing that our teams are kind of filled out already. So we were in the position to kind of take, I mean, obviously we have a couple holes on each of our teams, but they're not like gaping holes. They're kind of more like depth.
Speak for yourself. My team has no holes. I'm fine. We're good.
You have some depth issues. None. Any team has. Nobody has the perfect team, John. Before
we are perfect. I don't know about you. We're perfect.
All right. Either way, but we were both kind of picking best available player type guys. I mean, a little bit of need, but mostly best available. So let's get into it. So we'll kind of do this. We'll kind of do this round by round. So we started in the third round, both of us. Tell me about the 49ers picks, John.
Well, we moved up from 99. We moved up to 87, I believe it was. And we took Jair Brown from Penn State, 5'11", solid hitter. Dude's a stud, man. 4.5 sacks, 4 interceptions in 13 games.
Mhm.
He's known as a passionate big hitter for the Nittany Lions. Dude's from Trenton, New Jersey, in case he's your neighbor. And he's got some friends in the secondary, bro. He's going to have Charvarius Ward, Diamador Lenore, Hufanga, Tayshaun Gibson. It's gonna be a great secondary. I'm excited for him. I think he'll fit right in. I think he's a plug and play player. And I'm excited. He was my favorite pick. Honestly, we needed a safety to fill in the void from Jimmy Ward. In case anybody didn't know, he left the team. He tested free agency and he went and joined the Houston Texans over there with D'Amico Ryans. But I'm okay with it. I think Jair Brown's going to be fine. I think he's going to settle in. He's got a hell of a crew to welcome him. I think he's a scheme fit guy. This will be Steve Wilks. Is that his name? Steve Wilks?
Yes.
What's his name? Steve Wilks? Yeah. Wilks is going to be a first-year defensive coordinator. And I think that this was his guy. I think this draft was we like I said, we didn't really have any glaring holes. So we were able to involve all the coaches, kind of do a different style draft, let everybody have their say. And I think Steve Wilks got to pick this dude. I think this was his choice. And they had him on their board, and he was there when it came time. He was there. I think they went up to get him. Probably a good thing because he probably wouldn't have been there after that. So we got him. I was stoked, happy to see him. A contender from the Big Ten. I'm excited for him, dude. I think he's my most excited. Now we'll get into the other guys and touch base with them a little bit, but my favorite pick of this draft was pick 87, Jair Brown.
Okay.
How about you?
I got to be honest. I didn't watch a lot of college football this year, and the most I did a little bit of draft and like trying to figure out what was going to go on in the draft. So I did a little bit of research. Jair Brown wasn't somebody I researched. I didn't research a lot of the guys that were going to be in the third round because, to be honest, I think third round's kind of a crapshoot to find a lot of players.
Why? We have built quite a name for ourselves picking up in the later rounds. I think that's the beauty of the draft, bro. I mean, if you know you don't have a pick in the first round or second round, you can only rely on your front office to get you a stud, find you late round picks. Somebody that's going to be what you don't expect. George Kittle is, like, I always say this to you, George Kittle is the number one poster boy of why you hope to find a late round gem.
It's a little easier to, so I'll give you this. It's easy to
Don't
find.
poke the bear, Scott. We're getting there.
It's easier to find safeties, tight ends, right tackles, defensive tackles, positions like
quarterbacks in the seventh round, final pick of the entire draft.
No, that doesn't
Brock
happen.
Purdy. Everybody was out there looking for Brock Purdy this year, bro.
Happen all the time, John.
Everybody was looking for Brock Purdy.
You guys were lucky as shit with Brock Purdy.
I'm just here to tell you that you're not right.
Utter
luck. You're wrong.
Yes,
you can find studs all over the draft. You can find studs at every position in the entire draft. That's why they enter the draft.
John, that's luck. You can also find a good player. You can also find a good player on free agency after the draft. I mean, but it's rare. You can. It's not.
Your undrafted studs are out there.
You're not always going to find a really good quarterback in the seventh round.
Pacheco, seventh round,
an anomaly. That's one of the legends of Tom Brady. He was picked in the sixth round. Okay, it doesn't happen often. When did you guys pick Moody? Did you guys pick him in the third round or early fourth? I think it was third round, right?
It was late in the third. It was just before the fourth. You could say it's a fourth. You call it a third for conversational warfare if you want. I don't care. It doesn't matter. He was a late round. It's fine.
That was a dumb pick.
Listen, it's a need. We needed a kicker. We needed a kicker.
You could have picked one in the sixth round, seventh round. Could
Why?
not pick
What if he
one at
wasn't
all.
there?
You could not pick one at all.
Why? The Patriots took a kicker and a punter.
When did
What
they
if he
take
wasn't
them?
there? I
When
don't
did
know.
they take them?
I forget. Late, 4th round.
It was late. I don't even think
Fourth,
I don't know if
maybe
it was the fourth
late
round.
in the 4th, early 5th. Could have been late in the 4th round. I don't know. You know, it doesn't matter. I'm a Niners fan. So for me, get me a kicker. Was I a little bit taken away? I was a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, it scared me. I wasn't excited. I thought to myself, you know what, dude, what am I gonna do? You know, the team felt pretty strong about the team as a whole. We felt pretty confident in what we had. We felt like we have a pretty solid team. We needed a kicker, so we took a kicker, right? We took a kicker. You take the best player available. You do what you got to do. Were there other guys on the board? Sure, they were. Were they going to be first-year starters? I don't know. Doesn't matter. We needed a kicker who we could rely on, and this kid seems to be a reliable kicker, so we took him.
But
if I'm the Lions, or if I'm the Lions or the Browns, if I'm a bust-ass team that needs players and have been irrelevant for years now, I'm probably not taking a kicker at 99 in the 3rd round.
the Browns actually have taken kickers, and they haven't turned out to be anything because you can't really.
Yeah, but the Browns haven't turned out to be anything. You're a product of your environment.
A kicker
I don't know
kicks.
what to tell you.
A kicker kicks. That's what he does.
Okay.
You can't evaluate.
A quarterback throws and a receiver catches, Nick.
Yeah, but you can
and
evaluate
the center snaps and the running back runs. I mean, we could sit here and say
you can
what
evaluate
people do, bro.
quarterbacks, and you can evaluate running backs, and you can evaluate receivers. You can't evaluate kickers. We did something just as stupid last year and drafted Cade York in the 4th round. And guess what? He wasn't ready to kick. Okay. Now, there's the old adage is that kickers rarely, when they're drafted, they don't really ever stay with their team. There's only been one kicker in I don't exactly know the time frame, but there's only been one kicker in recent history that has been drafted and has stayed on his team, and that's Mason Crosby. There's been like 17 kickers drafted in like the last decade, and literally none of them stayed with their same team. Some of them became good kickers later. But they don't stay on their same team because they don't really become good kickers till later in their career.
To me, Nick,
is the only one.
To me, it's this. I'm not going to crucify the kid because he hasn't done anything yet. When the season begins,
it's not his fault.
Let the kid kick. Let him do his job. He's drafted to do a job. Let him do his job.
And
we can come back to this conversation later.
And here's the thing. Even if he does turn out to be a good kicker, it was still the wrong move.
I guess it just depends. It depends on what your needs are. Depends on what your team's needs are, dude.
Like
the
49ers.
Listen, Nick, I thoroughly believe in scheme fit players. I believe that. I believe that is the 49ers.
But there's no scheme fit for a kicker.
I'm not talking about the kicker. I'm talking about players that you take after. If there was someone that you would have preferred, it matters. Scheme matters.
Not for
scheme
kicker,
matters. And maybe take the fucking kicker out of it, bro. It doesn't make a difference. Forget about the kicker. Okay? We don't have glaring needs. It's arguable that we need a right tackle. They might believe that they've got that guy in-house. Okay, I mean, you can move Burford over to right tackle. You've got Feliciano that you picked up. You can plug him in. I'm not really worried about it. Like, if there were other guys on the board, but they weren't scheme fit, then the philosophy doesn't apply. The philosophy that the Niners build their franchise on is scheme fit players. They're just if they didn't like the guys, they didn't like them for any reason or another. I don't know. I don't know. There were other guys out there.
Fish Whisperer, Butker, one of the best kickers in the league, poached him from Carolina's practice squad. That's how kickers are picked in this league now. You just get him off
Okay.
the street.
Okay, but my point is this. Robbie Gould was not coming back. Okay.
Sure.
He wants to get more money. And we weren't going to pay you $8 or $9, $10 million.
Mhm.
So, you go on and you do your thing. The dude's as old as us. Not
Mhm.
really, but close, right? The idea is you got to find your next guy. You don't want to be teams that are just shitting the bed when it comes to kickers. I mean, we're too competitive and we're too close to need to have a faulty kicker. So you got that Gonzalez kid, right? Is that what his name? Zane?
Zane Gonzalez.
All right,
One
you
of the
got
kickers
Zane.
the Browns drafted.
Okay. Again, product of your environment. If he wasn't successful, it might be your fault. How do I know?
It's just the fact that he wasn't ready to be a kicker in that high stress situation.
Why?
At that time? He became it. He was with Arizona the last couple of years and did just fine.
Okay, so he didn't kick at all last year. Not a good look. Not good for us anyway. Doesn't mean anything, but you don't want the yips. You draft a young kid in Moody. He might be the next kicker for the next 10 years. We're not going to know. The bottom line is, let it play out, Nick. You can crucify the Niners for the pick. You're not going to be the only one. Let's just see what happens.
Okay.
Let's just see what happens.
So we'll talk about the Browns now.
Yeah, tell me about your draft. Tell me who you took. Tell me what you didn't like.
So we also picked in the third round, and we picked a wide receiver out of Tennessee, Cedric Tillman. And listen, the kid is fine. But I don't see anything. I've looked at the tape on him. I don't see anything that's dynamic about the kid. Is it possible that he could, in the right system, he could flourish? Sure. But I don't see where he's going to get a ton of playing time this year. And that's fine. He doesn't have to get a ton of playing time this year because, like I said, we have Amari Cooper. We have Donovan Peoples-Jones. We have Jalen Moore. We have more. We have a couple other receivers on the team that could fit a role. And I think he's going to have a role this year, but he doesn't have to go ape shit and break records this year. But when there's a guy, and like I said, we don't have too many holes, but we are short on depth at linebacker. Now, I get it. A lot of teams don't respect the linebacker position nowadays, and they think that it's kind of like the running back of the defense. But you still need good ones, and you still need depth at that position. And we were killed in depth last year. When Trenton Simpson's on the board, and I think Trenton Simpson was the second best linebacker in this class. I like Jack Campbell a lot, but I think Trenton Simpson was right there. 240, runs a 4.4 40. If you look at the tape on him, he's dynamic. And we just gotten an other receiver, a guy who I think is just going to be an other receiver. Yes, he has good size, but he's not a giant. He's not the fastest guy in the world. He's got good hands, and if you look at him, he's steady. But Trenton Simpson could be a difference maker on that defense, and you don't get difference makers in the third round a lot. So the fact that we passed on
a player that they may have felt did not fit their scheme. Nick, I mean, if you think that that's a great player, if you in your mind know or think you know that Simpson was a great player, what makes you think that they didn't have their scouting department looking into it? What makes you think that the data that they had on this kid, what do you think that you know that they don't?
Well, because there's a lot of times in the draft when I want players and they don't get them, and they bypass them for like other players, and the players that I wanted are better.
Do you honestly think if they cared what you wanted and 7 million other Browns fans, do you honestly think that they would put the effort into doing all the homework if they, you know what, guys, Nick, you know what? Fuck it. Go online, submit your favorite guys, and we'll consider. I mean, like, look at it this way, bro. They got to know if they fit their scheme. They've got all they need to know on these guys. If they passed on them, they either passed on them because they didn't do their due diligence. As a matter of fact, they probably forgot to call you, or they saw things that they just didn't want. You've got to remember, there's character involved. There's health. There's always tape. And what tape do you've got that they don't? Are you talking about you've got highlights on YouTube for 6 minutes? They've got an entire season of collegiate tape to go through. They look at highlights. They look at some of the shit, some of the worst. They do their due diligence, bro. For me to sit here and listen to you go on and on and on about a guy that they passed on that you like that they didn't take, it's completely clown. It doesn't even make sense. Come on,
the Browns do it often and it ends up biting them in the ass.
Okay. So name me a player that they passed on that's not named Patrick Mahomes that just is a world beater and you guys missed.
Josh Allen.
Ooh. Nick, we could say that about take the fucking quarterbacks out of it.
If I was the general manager in that draft, I would have drafted Josh Allen.
No, you probably wouldn't, because Josh Allen didn't come out as a world beater. He had a lot of flaws.
I think he was the best quarterback that draft. I said, you're a team that's gotten your ass kicked by Ben Roethlisberger for the last 20-some years. Why don't you get literally the guy who is the closest thing to Ben Roethlisberger, just faster?
Nick, quarterbacks, as much as I can say the same, we passed on everyone you claimed. My point is, take the quarterbacks out of this discussion. Find me O-linemen, defensive linemen, safeties, receivers, running backs, and defensive backs, and tell me who you passed on that you'll forever regret.
I can name you exactly the year that we had the worst draft in the history of drafts.
Big Doug, what's up, brother?
When we had 2 first-round picks, and we drafted Justin Gilbert and Johnny Manziel.
What the fuck do you mean, Johnny Manziel? The fucking proof was in the pudding. Johnny Manziel was a fucking clown. He was a clown. Yeah. He had flags. Dude, there were flags everywhere.
Yeah, I didn't want them to draft Johnny Manziel.
His fucking folder was a flag, brother.
I didn't want them to draft Johnny Manziel. I didn't want them to draft Justin Gilbert.
Look, dude, at the end of the day, you just have to say, look, the Browns just made a terrible decision.
That draft. Now, Sammy Watkins might not have turned out to be the greatest draft pick, but he was sure shit better than those 2 motherfuckers.
All I'm saying is,
okay, I wanted the Browns the year that the Browns drafted Brandon Weeden. You know who I wanted? David DeCastro. Okay, David DeCastro was a Pro Bowl guard for about 8 years. Okay, the Browns drafted Brandon Weeden, who sucked his entire career, and he was a 28-year-old quarterback. So, yeah, don't tell me I don't have better. I have a much better track record than the Browns.
Look, Nick, if everybody got to pick who they wanted, if a fan got to have insight, and someday I really wish that the draft would open up the phone lines, somehow allow fans to put in their input. But if for now, it ain't going to happen, bro. You never know. Let's see how creative the draft gets in the next decade. Let's see.
So the Browns ended up drafting Cedric Tillman. Listen, it's fine. It's fine. I'm cool with it. I wish they would have went a different direction, but all in all, he's probably going to be a pretty decent receiver, pretty solid receiver. He's probably going to take over for somebody in the future. Okay. Later on, we had a 2nd, 3rd round pick, and we drafted Siaki Ika. Now,
that sounds like a shot. Or a fancy cologne.
Going shot.
I love Samoans. I absolutely love Samoans. They are fucking warriors. I love them.
I got to be honest. I didn't know who the hell Siaki Ika was.
I have never heard of him a day in my life.
I did a lot of research. I didn't research Siaki Ika. He wasn't one of the guys that popped up on my queue. Looking at him, he's a big dude. He's a strong dude. When you look at his tape, they're saying he doesn't have a lot of the knock on him is that he doesn't have a lot of pass rush potential. I think that's a little bit wrong. I think he does have some pass rush potential. I think he needs to slim down a little bit. But he when you look at his tape, he's always collapsing the pocket. He might not be the one getting to the quarterback, but he's always putting pressure on the quarterback.
If he's collapsing the pocket, then he's opening up opportunity for your edge rushers
he did
to get
that.
those sacks.
He did
that's what you want.
He did that a lot.
That's what you want.
So, once again, it wasn't the direction I would have went in. There was a top-notch guard, top-notch edge rusher from Penn State. I can't think of his name. Double A. He is the weird Azubuike or whatever his name is.
But I know. I'm not going to sit here and embarrass myself trying to pronounce it, but I know what you're talking about.
And he was
Adewale, Adebouke, or something crazy.
He was projected to be a second round, late first round, early second round pick. So, like, that's the thing that kills me about the Browns. Like, there are these guys that fall, and you should jump on those guys. But once again,
Nick. Why though? Why is it that you dwell on this shit? There's a reason for that. There's a reason that the Browns passed. There has to be.
But the thing is, there's not even character issues with these guys. Trenton Simpson and this has whatever double A's. They didn't have character issues. There was, I mean, none that were.
How do you know?
None that were in the public.
How do you know?
I mean, maybe he didn't. Maybe they're
what he didn't make ESPN.
21st birthday. I don't know.
He didn't make ESPN and beat the living shit out of somebody, bro. I mean, character issues could be what happened at school. Where they're
like I said, maybe his teammates didn't go to his birthday party or something. I don't know.
I don't even know what that means, but that doesn't matter. The point is,
you never watched Draft Day. That was why Sonny didn't pick Bo Callahan.
Okay. Let's check the chat. Let me see what's going on here. The Chiefs draft was good. I think it was good, Laney. I remember some of the picks. Dion, what's good, fam? Good to see you. Daniel Caldrone, the Rams draft picks. I don't really know. I give you guys about a C-. I really don't know what you guys did. The Eagles had an amazing draft. They really did. They're basically the Georgia Eagles now, so that's cool. Scott says, when we drafted the human snail, I knew Jonathan Taylor was the man. Who was the human snail? Who was that?
I have no clue who the human snail was.
Scott, tell me who the human snail was.
I've never heard anyone called the human snail.
What's up, Izzy? Good to see you, fam. Tony is busy tonight. He couldn't join us. Why do the Browns even exist? That is a question that only the football gods can answer. Ryan, good to see you, brother. Thanks for joining us tonight, my man.
Oh, yeah. It's Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the human snail. I never heard him called that.
Oh, that's a good one. That's good. That's a good one. Doug says the Browns exist so the dog pound has a place to go other than jail. That is fucking hilarious, Doug.
Right.
Big Doug in the house with the funnies, bro. Excellent.
Did you guys have a fourth round pick at all?
No, we did not, which is why I think that the Niners jumped on Moody as early as they did. Not that it's an excuse, but it's a reason. I mean, you don't have a fourth round pick. There are teams that might take a shot at Moody in the fourth round. So you take him at 99, you get him.
I don't think that's a reason, but it is what it is. So we'll go with the Browns' fourth round picks then. So the Browns took. Now this is where the Browns got interesting. I'm not one for third round for third day picks. I'm not gonna hype them up. I'm not like John, who's gonna hype up every single pick that they have fifth through seventh round. But
because I am a positive mind, I like to believe that we will score and we find these late round gems, bro. We just do. I mean, we've picked early and we've swung and missed. So I'm happy. I'm happy with the picks. You know, you guys draft, and I don't know what the fuck you do. You know, you draft guys, you develop them, and then you give them away. I don't know. It's goddamn glasses, bro.
So we ended up drafting DeJuan Jones out of Ohio State, right tackle.
Now I like DeJuan Jones. I did. DeJuan Jones was probably one of my favorite picks that you guys had. I was kind of bummed out.
It could be one of the steals of the draft. It also could be an entirely wasted pick. DeJuan Jones, if you don't know, giant of a man, absolute giant, 6'8", 370. That's what he's listed at. That's also a problem. During the Senior Bowl, he was getting a lot of hype because he was just jacking people up, like he was destroying people. He was being talked about as a potential first rounder as early as the mid first round and no later than second round. Then comes the pro day, the Ohio State pro day. Apparently he weighed at 375 on the Senior Bowl. Apparently at this pro day, he was projected, he didn't actually weigh in, projected well over 400 pounds. So apparently he has a huge eating issue, a huge conditioning issue.
Is that a problem though? Is that like a legit concern on paper?
You can't,
because I've never heard it.
You can't be 400 pounds. You got to be able to move. I mean, yeah, you're big, but if speed rushers can get around you and they don't have to deal with you, then that's a problem. So you have to be able to move. 400 pounds is too damn heavy. But he was very effective at Ohio State. Did not allow a sack last year. If you can get that conditioning under control, he's a little bit raw of a prospect too. So if Bill Callahan can work with him and turn him into something, like I said, this could be one of the steals, if not the steal of this draft, because you could get a potential right tackle.
JT.
And he even has left tackle capabilities. I mean, he's big enough, and if he can get nimble enough and you can keep that weight under control, you could have yourself a left tackle there. And to get a left tackle in the fourth round, that's legit. That is a steal. So it's gonna be iffy on how it goes, but I definitely like the swing for the fences on that one, because in the fourth round, you might as well do that. Then they had a second fourth round pick, Isaiah McGuire. I got to be honest. Another thing, I did not research this guy. I did not know much about him, so I had to research him after the fact.
Isaiah McGuire was a favorite for my man Tony, resident GM and Nothing But Niners. His guy when
he was talking about him
when the Browns took him. Dude, that was like the wind left his sails completely. And I'll tell you what, he hyped me up on him. He talked him up. I really did like Isaiah McGuire from what I saw. But I mean, dude, the highlights to me, when somebody says check out his tape, I don't get it fucking tape. A 5-minute YouTube reel does nothing for me. I don't understand what I'm looking at.
Well, at least you can see how he plays, or what, if the highlights or anything, at least what he's capable of. So that's why I didn't like Cedric Tillman, because I'm looking at his highlights, and his highlights don't even seem that great. Like he's not blowing people away. He's not creating a ton of separation. He's just catching balls and then getting tackled. But with a guy like DeJuan Jones, he's pancaking people. A guy like Siaki,
is DeJuan Jones going to be a day one starter?
Better. What's that?
Is he going to start? Is DeJuan Jones going to start, or are we going to see the Browns just bring him in another couple of years, just develop him or claim to develop him?
There's no way he's starting right off rip, John, because their offensive line's set. They just picked up the 5th-year option for Jedrick Wills, so he's going to be left tackle. They re-signed both Batonio and Wyatt Teller, so the guards are set. They just re-signed Ethan Posick, so the center position's set. They also got Nick Harris, and they also drafted somebody behind, so they're set at center. And then right tackle, they just re-signed Conklin. They also got Hudson. So they're not hurting at offensive line. This was not a need pick. This was a for the future pick. and he
It
is
was
a
a
raw
luxury
prospect.
pick.
Yeah, so he is a raw prospect. Like I said, we don't have too many holes. We don't have really any holes, but we have some.
I've
depth
always
issues.
believed that Myles Garrett needs help on the other side, and until you guys produce someone that can
We got
at
Obo.
least get 6 to 8 sacks, I haven't seen Obo do anything in this league.
Obo was like rated like the sixth best rusher, the sixth best edge rusher last year.
For what? The bottom 10 teams in the league?
No,
He came from the Texans.
For all the teams in the league. Yeah. He was on the Texans. Doesn't mean he can't be doesn't
Didn't
mean
the Rams draft him?
Yeah. I don't know what
Until
that means.
he does something for you.
Well,
When
the
actually
thing is, he's never been a full-time player. Now he got signed for the full-time money.
Oh, so now it's his time to shine. He's never been a full-time player, so he's never started 15, 16 weeks of football. So now you expect him to be a world beater, out of shape and out of mind.
I think he started last year. He just wasn't your full-time Myles Garrett every freaking down defensive end.
Yeah, but so Obo was a backup for the Rams.
Obo was this.
Is that right, Daniel?
Yes, he was drafted by the Rams.
So he's your starter opposite to Myles Garrett.
Yes. A lot of people are calling that move the best move of the offseason.
I guess we'll find out.
For the money that we got him at and for the potential that he provides. He has always been. I'll give you an example.
They said the same about Jadeveon Clowney. Look what he did.
No, Jadeveon Clowney.
No. The expectations for Clowney in Cleveland were through the roof.
Well, first of all,
and he did nothing.
First of all, Jadeveon Clowney had a really good first year with the Browns. Last year, he was disinterested, and that's always been the knock on Clowney, is that he gets disinterested. Obo doesn't have that criticism on him. He's always been known as a hard worker. He's gotten better every year. They used him a lot the last couple years. Any chance
that Clowney just got disinterested with management, coaching,
that's exactly
the organization?
That's exactly what he got disinterested in.
I mean, don't say he got disinterested. Don't downplay him and say he got disinterested in playing the game. He got disinterested because the franchise he played for sucks.
No, he got disinterested because Joe Woods' defense sucked. Joe Woods' entire defensive scheme sucked.
Same difference.
Okay. Well, we don't have Joe Woods anymore, so he's gone. that's bygones be bygones. Joe Woods went to pasture somewhere.
Look, I never disagreed with you. I thought that Joe Woods was a terrible defensive coordinator. I didn't think that he was ready to be a defensive coordinator yet. He left San Francisco as a DB's coach, and the next thing you know, he became Cleveland's defensive coordinator. Now I understand that that's how these guys get a shot. He just sucked.
Yeah,
he was terrible. We'll never discredit that.
Obo's main job is going to be rushing the quarterback, which he's proven to be pretty good at. So I have faith in that. But yeah, so Obo was used last year, like say like an Ebicom was used, or one of your guys' rotational rush ends were used. That's how Obo was used in Houston. So he was kind of like Yannick Ngakoue type guy.
If you honestly believe that Obo is the answer to Jadeveon Clowney's absence, something's got to give. Like if the Browns were really serious about shoring up that other side, they would have gotten someone better. Go get Frank Clark.
I mean, he's still out there, so we might not be done yet. There's still a chance.
I honestly don't believe that if the Browns really want to make a run and the AFC, dude, your division has gotten better. The Ravens got better. The Bengals are going to be competitive regardless.
Yeah, the Bengals
and the Steelers might have been the second best team in the draft. I mean, dude, shake your head all you want. In my opinion, your division got better.
The Steelers
and the Browns didn't really do anything to get better. They really didn't.
What are you talking about? The Browns got infinitely better.
Okay. Like I said, it's all, dude, right?
First of all, the Browns.
It's a conversation. When the rubber hits the road, we'll find out.
First of all, the Browns, let me put it to you this way. The Browns last year, their entire defense wasn't that bad. Their just interior defensive line was historically bad. That is arguably a strength of this team now. The signing of Dalvin Tomlinson, they got other decent veterans like Hurst in there.
Cool, Nick. Infinitely better. When somebody is infinitely better,
yeah,
just mail them the Lombardi. Just send it in bubble wrap. It's infinitely better. Infinitely better. Mail the Lombardi to Cleveland, family. Just direct. Yeah. Send it overnight. Infinitely better.
This is Schwartz's team now, so Schwartz is going to make this line better. That's a priority of his, as opposed to Joe Wood. I will give you that. I will give you that. Wood, who didn't give a flying shit about it.
Schwartz is better. I will give you that.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, the Browns, they're going to be fine. I wish
your coaching. I think your glaring hole was a defensive coordinator,
and we fixed that.
As for the team, that remains to be determined. Let's see what happens.
So we got McGuire. I didn't know too much about McGuire, but you're talking late fourth round now. He's 6'4", 275, second team all Big 12, I believe. Seems fine. I don't know much about him. He looks good on tape. Is he going to be a world beater? Is he going to be a starter for this team? I don't think so. But could he be a decent rotational player? I think he kind of has to be, because
if Isaiah McGuire is as good as we thought he was, talking about it on another channel, Obo is going to get challenged at that. What is that? Is that the right side?
Yeah. I mean,
okay. So
whichever side Myles Garrett's not playing.
Okay. My point is that they're going to challenge camp. They're going to evaluate their draft picks through camp to see what they've got. If they believe that Isaiah McGuire is as good or better or could be better than Obo, then he's going to get the starting role.
If Isaiah McGuire is as good as Obo right now, then we have a freaking steal.
Yeah, but I mean, Daniel's over here saying, like, if you got AD on the line and he's not making, and Obo's not any better with they had a killer line. Listen, they had a killer line.
Obo.
Now I don't know when. Now I don't know when Obo left the Rams. I don't know if it was like, I don't know when he left and went to Houston. Nor do I care, because that guy's name does not resonate in my mind at all. I don't remember him being a problem. I don't remember even hearing about him.
He was a problem. He was a problem last year. It's just that he was for the shitty Texans. So, when your team doesn't win, nobody really looks at you. But as far as his performance on the field, yeah, it was very good. I was a little disappointed when they first signed him, because I thought that's all they were going to do. I didn't realize that they were going to go get Thornhill. I didn't realize that they were going to get Thomas.
That was a great pick. Thornhill was a great pick.
I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic that Obo is arguably your second or third best pick of the free agency. So yeah, I mean,
I don't know if I'd give him that much credit. I think they just went out there and got a guy that they could afford to pay.
John,
someone that they believed would fit.
It's not me saying this. Many people are considering Obo the steal of free agency. We signed him. We signed him for $7 million a year.
Listen, $7 million a year. You think that's a fucking steal?
Yes.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yes.
We get guys to sign for $1 million for 1 year.
Yeah, but
that's a fucking steal, buddy.
Yeah, but they're not as good. All right.
Kerry Hyder racked up like 8 or 9 sacks. Yeah, we got him dirt cheap.
Positional. It's positional, John. Your guys' defense is known to get a lot of sacks. Obo might get 12 sacks next year. You don't know because now he's on Schwartz's defense. If he was on Joe Winston's defense, he'd get 5
Schwartz's defense doesn't exist yet. Schwartz has to put the defense to work. We need to see them and evaluate them for the 6-7 weeks of football.
Schwartz has his pieces. He's gonna have the wide 9. You're gonna have the defensive lineman putting interior pressure, and you're gonna have the edges just rushing the quarterback at will. That's what it is. And you're gonna have the linebackers freed up to do whatever they got to do.
I mean, it's honestly, dude. Schwartz, you can't say Schwartz's defense yet.
I mean, it's well known what Schwartz runs.
We need to see that defense play out.
Obviously,
and then you can label it Schwartz's defense. For right now, you have a defensive coordinator and you have said players. That's it.
Schwartz. I mean, yeah, we haven't seen it in action yet, but we know what it's going to be. We don't know how good it's going to be. Obviously.
Cool, Nick. Where are you going? Why is he leaving? What happened?
But yeah,
I just think that before you get ahead of yourself, let's see Schwartz's defense play out. We have to come back to this.
I mean, John,
these conversations are purely speculative.
There's about 4 months till that comes to fruition. So if we don't talk about it, we're not going to have much to talk about.
I mean, we'll talk. We're touching base, but I mean, we need to see it. I want to see 5 weeks of football. I want to see that defense settle in. I want to see what they're all about, and I want to see if, in fact, the Browns are relevant, because they've got good players on the roster, but it's just such a failure so far. Like it's truly fucking terrible. You know, I mean, you got a hell of a running back tandem in Cleveland. You had good receivers.
Hopefully this change in defense philosophy makes a difference. I think it might.
I think it might also, but let's not put Schwartz's name on the package until we see it. I really want to come back to all of this. I want to come back to the picks. Yeah. I want to come back to Schwartz's defense. I just want to come back to it.
He has a history of success in this league up to and including the Super Bowl level. So I have faith in him. 5th round. So you guys did have some 5th round.
Are we still talking about the Browns?
No, we're talking about the 49ers, 5th round.
Okay, 5th round. Go on. Who'd you take in the 5th round?
We just got done talking about the Browns the whole time. Let's talk about the 49ers for a little bit.
All right. You
guys got Darrell Luter and you guys got Beal.
Yes. I don't know a lick about Luter. I don't know a damn thing about Luter. So I'm not even going to sit here and pretend to. I'm not going to talk about it. I don't know who he is. I'd like to go back to 101 overall. We took Alabama's Cameron Latou. I kind of wanted to say Latou was not a big fan favorite for San Francisco. When they drafted him at 101, everybody was scratching their heads. They weren't quite sure if he was if he was worthy of that 3rd round pick. Honestly, he had an 11% drop rating in Alabama, and I don't know much about how they spread the ball there. So I really don't want to comment and say, oh, he's got shitty hands, because that 11%, how many times was he targeted? You know, but the thing is, they spread the ball around in Alabama. I just don't know how much they involve their tight ends. I've never paid attention. It was never really my thing. So the Cameron Latou pick, do you know anything about Cameron Latou?
I know I'm just reading, he was on the watch list for Polynesian Player of the Year.
I love Polynesians. I love the Islanders. I love Pacific Islanders. They seem to be the guys with the biggest balls, and they seem to be the least injured. I like it. If all I have to go off of is he was a Polynesian Player of the Year, or he was excellent, great. For me, I don't know shit about Latu. Know nothing about him.
Many of my criticisms, the way that the Browns do things, is also my criticisms of the way the 49ers do things. I think there were plenty good tight ends left. I think there were some that I had rated higher than Latu. I didn't even know who Latu was. I didn't even have him rated. Okay. But you know, they pick their guy, the guy they like, which I guess is fine. But you know, I looked a little bit on Latu, and he didn't strike me as anyone special. Granted, it's in the late third round.
The guy's massive.
Special players.
He's 6'4", 6'5", 242 pounds.
That's not necessarily massive.
He had 56 catches for 787 yards and 12 touchdowns. He was a former linebacker, so maybe they plan on honing in on the linebacker role. Maybe they'll utilize him different. You know what I mean? He's a good run blocker. That's you got to block in the scheme, so that's a good thing. I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what I saw off a YouTube clip because it does me no good. It doesn't. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what I'm analyzing. I don't know what I see. Oh wow, excellent. They're only highlighting the good shit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But the thing is, when I look at YouTube highlights, John, when I look at highlights of players, I'm looking at this is the best they do. This is the best stuff they do.
Is it the best they do? Is it the best they do against fucking clown teams? Like some of the teams these highlights are on, bro, they're putting up 50 points. The teams are butt crack. It's not.
Alabama doesn't necessarily play the worst teams.
Listen, Nick. With the exception of Alabama, what I'm trying to say about YouTube highlights in general is it means fucking zero. Yeah. What you and I watch is nothing. We don't know shit.
It doesn't.
We won't know shit.
Zero.
It means zero.
Zero. It doesn't mean zero.
It's not an evaluation film. It's highlights of their best plays. It's not a good evaluation. We're not scouts.
Evaluation.
We're not coaches. It does zero for us.
But I can't make a total evaluation, but I can make somewhat of an evaluation. I can say, at least with their highlights, I can say, this is the best this person looks at his comparable competition. So obviously, if a guy's blowing, if you have a receiver or a running back and they're just blowing by guys, okay, you don't expect them to do that necessarily at the pro level, but it's nice to know that they do it at their college level, okay? And then there's other things you have to do to go into evaluations too. But at least that's a baseline evaluation. Okay? And when you look at Latu, he doesn't blow anyone away. He doesn't do anything exceptionally very good. Now, granted, it's a late third round pick. So you take that as it is. I think there were some guys there that had a little more talent. Maybe they weren't a good fit. That's where you're talking about scheme. Maybe they weren't a good fit. Maybe they were more pass catching.
You know what? Bryce Young, he was a pretty reliable target for Bryce Young. 12 touchdowns.
I mean, Bryce Young threw like 40 touchdowns.
All I'm trying to say is if the guy had some linebacker experience, maybe the Niners have alternate agenda.
Maybe they think he has some type of mean streak. I don't know.
I don't know. Regardless, the rest of the picks, I'm not familiar with Robert Beal Jr. D. Winters seemed to have been a fan favorite. There's a lot of speed there from that TCU linebacker. Braden Willis was an Oklahoma tight end. That dude seems to be a fan favorite. Ronnie Bell, I'm familiar with him from the Michigan Wolverines. And Jalen Graham was the Purdue linebacker. So in all, the Niners draft was a safety, a kicker, a tight end, a corner, an edge, linebacker, tight end, wide receiver, linebacker. Mm-hmm. I don't know what any of these guys are going to be, and I'm not going to sit here and
I don't think anyone does. I mean, you really can't. I mean, you talk about the draft, you speculate, but you really don't know till they actually perform on the field. Because, like I've always said, everyone that gets drafted has talent. Some people have more talent than others, but it's what you do with that talent. It is what you do with that talent that inevitably makes you who you are. Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round. He probably deserved every bit to be drafted in the 6th round because that was what his talent was. But he maximized every bit of his talent, and now he's the GOAT.
That's what I'm saying. Like, did he maximize his talent, or did they maximize his talent? They developed him.
It's probably a little
right.
Both.
They developed him, so
he had to have the hunger. He had to have the hunger to want to learn and the capabilities of learning the intricacies of the game.
I believe. And Izzy asked me, do I believe that we found another fifth round gem like Kittle, Greenlaw, and Lenore? It's hard to say. It's honestly hard to say. Do I want to believe we did? 100%. 100%. Do I like the guys that they took? I watched their highlights. Again, it's not an evaluation for me. I'm not an evaluator. I will evaluate them as a fan does when they take the field, or if in fact they make a lot of noise in camp, then you start to understand what these beat writers are reporting and you take it for what it is. I watched YouTube highlights on all these guys. I don't know what the fuck I'm watching. They're playing shitty teams. They're highlighting their greatest moments. I really don't know what it translates. It means nothing to me at the NFL level because the talent is far superior. So it's like, what am I looking at? Were they excellent in college? Great. Now they're in the NFL. Who are they? I have no clue. And that's just an honest assessment. I'm not going to sit here and tell people, oh, I love this. They seem like great people. Their characters are awesome. They seem like they fit the locker room. But are they going to understand their job at the NFL level? Are they going to get lost in the scheme? Are they going to vanish and reside on the practice squad and become nobody? I mean, that's the thing. Like, I won't know who any of these people are until they make noise in camp, challenge our starters, or get some burn on the field, and I'm amazed. You know what I mean? Like Talanoa Hufanga, for example. I didn't know who Hufanga was. I didn't know who Diamador Lenore was. To Izzy's point, I didn't know who Kittle was. He was a good tight end for Iowa. That's all we knew. But we didn't know who he would be in the NFL. Little did we know he'd be a top 3 tight end in the league. You know, and as far as Greenlaw, like, yeah, I didn't know who Dre Greenlaw was. So I mean, I can only hope. We seem to have a great deal of history developing guys late around. So I hope so. Yeah, absolutely, Scott. Can they stay healthy? Sure. That's I mean, outside of those highlights, we know nothing, Nick. Mm-hmm. If you think that you know who the Browns missed on because you watched a YouTube highlight, bro, I got news for you.
I didn't watch a YouTube highlight, John.
Well, you don't have YouTube fucking highlights. Scout tape, and you sure as shit don't have high school or high school footage either. All of that matters. All of that matters.
I use high school footage to track recruits to Ohio State. I don't use high school footage to justify whether or not they get picked in the draft.
We don't have access to any of that, so we don't know.
I will talk about the Browns. Just touch on them. In the 6th round, we traded our 7th round pick. We got Luke Whippler from Ohio State, the center. Just another possible maybe depth piece, maybe possible starter along the line. I think Nick Harris is probably his stint in Cleveland is over. He was supposed to be our starter last year, and then Posick took over once he injured his ACL, and Posick, the rest is history. Posick's now entrenched as our starter. But he's going to be basically our 3rd center, possibly rotational guard piece, maybe. Looks decent. I'm not really expecting too much, but hopefully down the road. And then we got a cornerback, Cameron Mitchell. Don't know much about him.
Who did the Bills pick up? Who's the next Kelsey?
Bills picked tight end in the first round. I forget what his name was.
Was that the Schoonmaker dude?
I don't know. They didn't draft Schoonmaker. Schoonmaker was the Michigan guy.
Yeah.
They drafted.
Who did they draft? Scott, who was it?
Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton Kincaid.
I really didn't
remember.
Much. Yeah, I really didn't do much. Studying on the tight ends because I knew the Browns probably weren't going to take one. If they were going to do it late. But he was rated among the top 2 tight ends, and he looks really good. So I am a little bit flummoxed by it because are they going to run a 2 tight end set? Is that what they're going to do? Are they going to do like a New England Patriots of the early 2000s where they were running with early 2010s where they were running Aaron Hernandez and Gronk? I mean, are they going to do that? I mean, I don't know why people don't do that. It was successful for the Patriots back then, but not every team tries to do that. Very few do. So are they trying to move on from Knox? Do they think he's going to be a little too expensive in the next coming year? I don't know. I don't know where they're going with that, but that dude is a good player.
Look, Scott says let him know when the guy has 7 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Like, I get it, Scott. It's awesome being a Super Bowl champion, isn't it? You get to look down at everybody else and all their excitement for their draft picks and think, these guys are not fucking Chiefs.
I think Scott needs to be knocked off his pedestal a little bit. He's getting too comfortable perched. He's getting too comfortable perched up there.
Scott, let the fans of Buffalo have their moment, brother. Jesus Christ! Like, you know what? I want to shut up, Siri. I want to go away from this for a second. Actually, let's just wrap this up. I'm fucking done talking about these picks because it means nothing until the rubber hits the road when we see these guys. Let me talk to you about the Kelsey was at a concert or something. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know where he was, but he drank some beer off of a replica Lombardi, right? And he spiked it, all right? Now, for me, as a football fan, I respect Kelsey. I love what he does. Do you think that I got upset that he used the Lombardi to chug a beer and then he spiked it? Like, number one, does it surprise me? No. That's who he is. Crazy, wild, nuts. Do I care that he spiked the replica Lombardi? I don't give a fuck. That doesn't upset me. Yet there were these Karens all over social media just shitting on Kelsey. How could you disrespect the game? How could you be so disrespectful of the players in the league that dream of one day hoisting a Lombardi? Get the fuck out of here. What are you fucking talking about? It really does nothing for me. It does nothing for me. I just honestly, huh?
I don't care what he does.
I mean, I don't care what he does either, but at the end of the day, what he did with the Lombardi that day means absolutely zero to me. I mean, I'm not bothered by it. I wasn't offended by it. I'd love to know who the fuck was offended. I would love to know, and I'm talking about like players. Are players honestly offended by what Kelsey did? Honestly.
I don't think they give 2 shits.
I would agree. I don't give 2 shits. He's fun to watch. Is he wild and crazy? Sure he is. Should it surprise you that he spiked a replica The Lombardi, like, it doesn't surprise me. If somebody told me that he threw the actual Lombardi and it fell into a bush, I'm not going to give a fuck. I really don't care. So I just wanted to know, like, did any, Scott, Nick, did you guys see anything critical, or are there any players out there criticizing this? Because if so, I need to know, because I would love to troll the fuck out of them.
Izzy's bringing up some stuff here, John. Are we going to this 49ers Cleveland game, or are we going to the Pittsburgh 49ers game?
Yes, 100%. We are. We most certainly are.
It's going to be an epic showdown between John V and Nico.
I will probably fucking hit you. At some point, I will probably attack you. I really will. I mean, you're going to be infinitely better. I'm going to have a shirt that says infinitely better. I can't wait. It'll be great.
I should make some brown shirts that say infinitely better.
You should, because most people will never buy them, because it makes no sense.
The quote,
it makes zero sense.
Quote started here first. Infinitely better.
But I will, Izzy, I am going to, when the Niners are in Pittsburgh and when they come to Cleveland, it's an hour drive for us. So I'm doing it. To go to Pittsburgh, I watched us get slaughtered in Pittsburgh some time ago. I would love to go, and we are going. So yes, Tony's coming too. I don't know if he knows that yet or not, but he's definitely coming. He's coming. He's absolutely coming. There's no ifs, ands, or whats about it, because I think that John Chapman is doing a rush party in either Cleveland, Pittsburgh, or both. I know it's Pittsburgh for a fact, but I think he mentioned on one of his shows that he would like to bring that party to Cleveland as well.
Better fucking bring it to Cleveland. Why would he bring it to Pittsburgh and not bring it to Cleveland?
I mean, I guess it just depends on whether or not they can get the venues and wherever they're going to host it, busing. I mean, it's a pretty well organized. It's a pretty organized affair. It's pretty dope. You know, if you remember those clips of the shows that we did last year, we had the Niner fans in all those crazy locations partying. That was a party. That was a 49ers rush party. It would be awesome. Now, whether or not we bring Nick and Tony, well, Tony will definitely come to the party. Nick, I said we just leave Nick outside. He can park the car. I don't think we need to bring Nick to either one.
You need Browns representation in the locker room ran at that party.
Go to your own party. Go to your own party. Go to a Browns backers party. We'll send you text messages of all the fun we're having.
I go back and forth from the Browns backers to Chapmans.
Laney says people were upset because Mahomes and Kelsey carried out 2 of our Super Bowl trophies to open the draft. Losers and jealous people. Why in the fuck would they be mad about that? They earned those trophies. That is insane. I absolutely have no problem with the Chiefs doing anything with a Lombardi. Real, replica, paper mache, I don't give a shit. You are the Super Bowl champions. You earned it. You have every right to celebrate and have your fun with it. It absolutely doesn't upset me in the slightest. I don't care. That is ridiculous. Will Compton said we were cursed and thought it was an actual Lombardi. Troll him. Who the fuck is Will Compton? And I would do it with pride. Cannot wait.
He said the Chiefs were cursed. I'd love to be cursed like the Chiefs are, just winning Super Bowls left and right.
I just don't understand. What does anyone in this league care when the Super Bowl quarterback and star tight end carry out the trophies? Why is that? Why? I mean, I get it. Everybody wants something to talk about, but I got to understand this. What did they do that was so wrong? To me, it means absolutely nothing. I'm not bothered by it. I actually expect it. I expect the Super Bowl champion and the Lombardi to make an appearance at the draft. I do. And it's fucking in Missouri. right?
Yeah, it was in Kansas City.
It was literally there.
Mm-hmm.
Where else would you want? Where? I don't get it. I don't get it. Laney, for God's sakes, it's in KC, right? I have absolutely no ill will.
All right. Do you want to touch on the NBA at all, or you want to call it quits?
I mean, we could touch a little bit about the NBA. Might as well. It's no secret. My Cavs got knocked out by the Knicks. We really were piss poor and didn't deserve to move beyond the round. We were awful. We were outbound. I mean, we couldn't get boards to save our lives. Okay, Brunson owned us entirely. Jalen Brunson destroyed the Cavaliers single-handedly. That's it.
I think the Cavs really. I know you guys like him, and I know he gets a lot of positive attention, but I really think you guys need to make an upgrade at center. I don't think he's that good. Jarrett's not that good.
Then bring Drummond.
No, you can't bring Drummond. Drummond's an old man now.
All right, bring me a veteran center.
You need somebody that's just like an absolute like stud. Is going to get rebounds. I don't think he's that. I don't think he's that. I think he's good enough to do well in the regular season, to have sporadic games. But I think when it comes down time and he plays better competition, he's just going to get out muscled.
All right. I mean, we'll address it. Scott says coattail riding KD and the Suns in trouble. Why? What's going on?
Well, the Suns
lose again.
Well, Chris Paul's hurt. So
I don't care. Chris Paul's always hurt, Nick. Chris Paul is always fucking hurt. He's always hurt in the second round. The dude is always hurt. I don't give a fuck about Chris Paul. That dude is the most overrated guard in all of ball. He's the most overrated.
He's not overrated when he plays.
Dude, Chris Paul is just, that's a dude who, honestly, his injuries, I'm so tired of Chris Paul always hurt in the playoffs, bro. Just, I don't care. I don't care.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you have to, I mean, he has to be healthy in order for them to really have a shot. Especially against
I will try to find that clip of Joe Staley. I don't know where it is. I didn't see it myself. I missed it. I don't even know what I was doing. I was live for the whole damn thing. I really don't know how I missed it. At some point, I had to change, get a beer run. I don't know what I did, but I missed it. Yeah, the Suns are down 0-2. That's crazy. You know, Devin Booker is another one who vanishes in the playoffs.
They're gonna lose, John. They're without Chris Paul, they have no shot in the series.
I don't care. When you have Booker and you have Booker and you have Kevin Durant, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Honest to God, it shouldn't matter. So, in other words, that to me is irrelevant. The Suns were overrated, and it's just Devin Booker just doesn't shine in the moments that he should. He always fades out.
All right, so we'll do this. Who do you like in the Heat versus Knicks?
I like the Heat. I think the Heat are very well balanced, and I think that I have absolutely no. I'm not convinced that the Knicks are even going to. They could actually get swept.
No, they can't get swept because they just won tonight.
Oh, they did? I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. Okay.
So it's 1-1.
By how many? By how many?
The first game was by 7. This game was the Knicks won by 6.
Okay. I think that the Heat are definitely going to win this series. The Heat win the series.
So, all right, Jimmy Butler's playing amazing right now. Knicks, I mean, I got to be honest. I like the Knicks team. I like the addition of Brunson, man, has made that team a hell of a lot better. That was a very smart. Well, Hart's a great glue guy. Hart's a great glue guy, but Hart's not going to be the reason why you win.
Thibodeau, the coach, Tom Thibodeau.
You
always say that, dude, but
I've
it doesn't matter. The proof is in the pudding.
Agreements with Thibodeau.
I love
Thibodeau's not
Thibodeau.
the
I think he's
worst,
a great.
but
I think he's a great coach. Just ask Chicago. Just ask Chicago. How have they done moving off of Tom Thibodeau?
I mean, they were pretty good last year.
No,
they had
no.
about
Ask
as much
Chicago.
success last year as Thibodeau ever took them to.
Chicago was always a contender in the postseason. Always. Okay,
They
they
never
were
went
always there with Tom. Yes, they
never
were.
They never went to the finals with Thibodeau.
Nope. But they were in the postseason. They were in the playoffs.
They were in the
This is the Bulls' first season. This is the Bulls' first playoff run. I'm sorry. This was no. I'm sorry. No, the Bulls didn't even make it.
last year.
Bulls did not make it
Last year the Bulls made it.
in the play-in.
No, last year the Bulls were one of the best teams last year.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I'm saying Tom Thibodeau is the difference maker. Period.
I mean, I think he's a little overrated.
Jalen Brunson, and Tom Thibodeau.
What about the?
Good night, Laney.
What about the
Thanks for
76ers?
stopping out.
What about the 76ers versus Celtics? 76ers are up 1-0 in that series right now.
That's a tough one because the Sixers are playing great ball. They're playing great ball.
The Sixers beat the Celtics without Joel Embiid
That's pretty crazy.
at Boston, which
That's
I
pretty
thought,
crazy.
which I think
And
the
that's why
Celtics
I'm seeing that what's his name? The Celtics coach is on the hot seat right now.
I mean, it'd be hard to be on the hot seat. I mean, this is his first year, and they were one of the best, if not best, teams in the league.
I'm seeing. I saw it somewhere. I don't know where I saw it, but I saw it. I would say the Sixers. I would say the Sixers only because I don't know what's missing from Boston, but they don't look the same. They don't look like that team last year. They don't. They just don't.
I'm going to go with the Celtics. I think the Celtics are just better. I think that first game was
Really? Scott, you think that Tatum's overrated?
I think Tatum's overrated.
I don't.
I
I don't
just
think
think
he's
Tatum's
overrated. I
overrated
think Tatum
because-
is great.
If you look at the playoffs right now, and Jaylen Brown and Tatum have been doing almost the exact same. And no one would ever say Jaylen Brown is among the top 5 players in the league. But people consistently say Jason Tatum's among the top 5 players in the league. And I feel like I'm living in goddamn bizarro world. Because to me, Jason Tatum's no better than Jaylen Brown. I'm not saying he's worse. I'm just saying he's no better.
I definitely have Tatum in the top 10. I don't have him. Look, I don't think that Jaylen Brown is better, though. I don't.
I think they should be complementary players. I think they've grown to be complementary players. They both do a little bit different things. But
is Jaylen Brown a Celtic next year?
Like I said, it all depends what Jaylen Brown wants to do. If he wants to create his own legacy, he has to leave. Because whatever success that the Celtics ever have is going to be attributed to Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown will never get the credit he deserves on the Celtics. Because
I mean, the offense runs through Tatum, Nick. The offense runs through Tatum.
I mean, you can look at the stats. I mean, the stats in these playoffs are not unlike the stats in the whole season.
What I'm asking you is, do you see a significant difference in this Boston team versus last year's team?
Not really. I mean, they have basically the same team.
Yes, they do. But do you see a decline in this year's?
There may be a little bit of a hunger thing. There may be some internal stuff. Maybe Brown's getting a little pissed off that he's not getting the credit that he deserves. I don't know. That's just speculation. He might not be.
No, I don't think he's an MVP candidate. And I see what you're saying, Scott. I've seen it.
Yeah,
But
no,
I
that's
agree.
exactly what
I
believe.
don't.
People talk about
I
him
don't
as
see him as an MVP candidate. Not at all. No way. No way. But I've seen the conversation. I know exactly what you mean. I just think that there's something's changed about this Boston team. Now, take the regular season out of it, because regular season they dominated. They were awesome.
Mhm.
But postseason, the playoffs right now, they don't look the same. They don't look the same.
Yeah, they haven't been dominant, that's for sure.
And they
But-
were dominant.
I'm saying in the regular season they were dominant.
What's his face? They got back Williams, right?
Grant Williams?
Grant Williams. No,
Yeah, he's playing.
the big dude. Is that Grant Williams?
Oh, Robert Williams.
Robert. It's Robert Williams. He seems to be healthy this run, right? And I don't know, bro. There's something about this Boston team that does not look as aggressive, maybe. I don't know, dude. I don't know. It could be premature. Could be a terrible take. I'll own it.
I mean,
I'll own it if they win the series. I'll own the take. It could be a poor take.
I mean, it also could be that maybe Udoka is a very good coach.
I said that too. But it's irrelevant. Doesn't matter.
Maybe the guy they got right now. I mean, I don't think this guy's on the hot seat, but maybe the guy they got right now is just a guy who's driving a really good car.
That's possible.
And maybe the coach is the difference maker.
Jaylen Brown is certainly a contributor, Izzy. There's no doubt about it.
But he's not a contributor. He's
I just don't think that. I think that Tatum is the better player of the two.
Like Jaylen Brown is the dog. Jaylen Brown is like Izzy kind of says it right. He's the heartbeat of that team. He's the guy who's the driving force behind that team. Tatum's a fine player. And he can score in a lot of different ways, and he can affect the game in a lot of different ways. And he's probably a more skilled player than Jaylen Brown. But when you need something done, when you need something handled on the court, Jaylen Brown is the one you go to. You don't go to Tatum.
Sixers Warriors finals. That is a very high possibility.
What about Suns Nuggets? So who do you like? Who do you like in the Celtics 76ers?
I think I like the Sixers. Honestly,
like the Sixers.
I think I like the Sixers in this. I really do. I really do.
Suns Nuggets. Suns are leading. Nuggets are leading 2-0.
Denver's tough.
I tell you what. For some reason I always discount them. I don't know why I do. But man, Jokic is freaking amazing.
I see. That's the opposite of me. That's the opposite of me. I invest a lot into him and really amp him up. So it's opposite for me. I really do like Jokic. I love him. I think he's awesome.
I mean,
you want to talk about a heartbeat of a team? You want to talk about a heartbeat of a team? He is the heartbeat and soul.
I mean, there's no reason he should dominate the way that he does.
No,
and he just flat out dominates the game. His physical besides for being big, he does not have great physical capabilities, and he just absolutely dominates. I mean, he's having an incredible postseason. Talking upper 30, 40-point games. He's always going to get the triple doubles, and I'm not necessarily like super ecstatic about triple doubles, but I mean, he still dominates the game. And
I do have a no. Oh my God, Izzy, that's right. Listen, my Jokic Funko. Oh my God, she reminded me of something. My Jokic Funko never made it last year. Do you remember during the series, I was like, Jokic is coming. You
don't have a Jokic one?
I bought a Jokic. He never made it. And I'd forgotten all about it till she just said it.
You don't have it, though? I thought you had a Jokic one.
No, I don't. No, I have Luka. From last year's playoffs, I have Giannis, John Morant, Jimmy Butler, Chris Paul, Jason Tatum, and Luka. and I had ordered Jokic, and it never made it, and I'd forgotten the entire time. No shit, Izzy, that is pretty crazy. I am happy that you reminded me, but I'm also sad because I forgot all about it. It got lost, bro. Don't you remember? I was waiting for it week after, dude. Every week of the playoffs, I was like, "Yo, my Jokic never made it."
I thought you had him.
Everybody did. Izzy thought I did too.
Is it safe to say
I got to get on that.
This one?
What?
Is it safe to say we both picked the Nuggets in this one?
100%.
All right. And last one, Lakers Warriors.
I mean, the Lakers are no match. Look, Sacramento was an amazing team, and they did not get the credit that they deserved. Okay, they didn't, and the Sacramento Kings are above and beyond the Lakers. So I have full faith that the Warriors will win that series. LeBron and crew might get away with a game, but all in all, I think it's safe to say the Warriors are definitely winning that series. Shit, they could sweep the Lakers.
I think a lot of people were surprised that the Lakers beat the Grizzlies. I wasn't. I'm not a huge believer in the Grizzlies. I believe they were playing out of their ass last year. Yeah, so I mean, the Lakers beat them, but I don't think they're going to beat the Warriors. I think the Warriors are probably going to be the top dogs again. So it is what it is. That's pretty much it. Do you have anything else, John, that you want to touch on the NBA or just anything in general?
What do you think about what's his face from Memphis? They are above and beyond. They're done with him. Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, I mean, he's not really
moving
that
on from him.
Player.
You know what? I think he put up very similar numbers to John Morant in a few of those games. Now,
I mean, he might have had an occasional outburst, but I mean,
I can't stand him.
Dylan Brooks.
I can't stand him. I can't stand him.
The best thing about Dylan Brooks is he'll play rough and he'll give you some gritty defense, but Dylan Brooks is not a very good skilled player. So
Dylan Brooks was
moving on from him is not a surprise.
Would you say that he essentially cost them that series?
I don't think he necessarily cost them that series. You kind of look like an idiot not backing up your talk. But
listen. The thing about Dylan Brooks is he did a lot of talking to a man that has far exceeded expectations. He's got 20 years in the league. He's at the top of his name is everywhere. He's a juggernaut in basketball. And this fucking guy.
Yeah, but LeBron didn't really
talking shit.
But LeBron didn't really dominate this past series. I mean, you look at the statistics LeBron had.
I don't. It's not even, and that's not the point that I'm trying to make. I'm just saying, like, who are you talking shit to? What are you doing?
But like, when you go into the game and when you go to the media and be like, LeBron, like they can't score on me, blah blah blah, and then you come up with 4 of 11 for 10 points and 4 rebounds and 2 assists, and LeBron.
What's up, Memphis man? Points. I see you, bro.
Like LeBron didn't dominate, but like he played better than you. Who the hell are you to talk? Like if you're going to talk,
I'm not going to. You're going to call a guy old, and you're going to say he's washed. I mean, like, do you really believe that? Like, do you believe that he's washed? He's not washed. Look, and Izzy, I totally understand it. Like, and Nick will agree with you, and Tony will agree with you. I don't hate LeBron, but I'm also not, wearing his jersey either. The point is, the things that Dylan Brooks, the things that Dylan Brooks says about LeBron, to me, is just like, that's clown shit. Like, you can't possibly believe that, bro. And at that point, it's done. What's done is done. It's done. Like, you talk that shit, you couldn't back it up, it's trash. You're saying dumb shit to a Hall of Famer. What the fuck are you talking about? You haven't even, your name isn't anywhere yet, bro. You haven't even established yourself in this league. You haven't established yourself anywhere in this league. You have no grounds to talk shit.
Well, Dylan Brooks never going to establish himself because he's not really that good.
That's what I mean. Like, why are you, what are you doing? The problem is he was getting media attention and he loved it. And essentially, you pissed off the bear and he bounced your ass.
Like I said, I don't know if it's necessarily pissing off the bear because LeBron didn't necessarily have a killer series. I mean, I think he averaged like 20 points. I mean,
no, look and see. I think it was a little bit more than that. Nonetheless, my point is this.
He had a couple games where he was in the teens and he had a couple games where he was in the mid-20s. So I'm kind of splitting hairs there. Around 20 points.
At this point, good. Fucking pull your weight. You know, I'm sick of seeing LeBron carry fucking teams. Pull your fucking weight.
Well, Anthony Davis was the one doing the real heavy lifting. And actually, Austin Reeves had a couple good games.
It's about fucking time. You know? Like, that's the shit I'm talking about. Like, the point is, I don't think that Memphis really gives a shit. I don't think the fan base is going to miss him. I don't think they give a fuck, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. All right.
No, I don't think James is the victim, but I think that he hurt the Memphis Grizzlies. I think he was a distraction to the team. And I don't know. I think he was a distraction to the team. I don't think that the franchise respected him for the bullshit that he was doing. And, you know, essentially, you know, you talk that shit, you can't back it up, and you got bounced. I like the Grizzlies minus him. I like that team. I like that team a lot. And I think they're going to be a contender someday. There's some growth there, but.
Am I forgetting? Has Memphis Maine been in here before?
I think he stopped in. Memphis has stopped through before. He stopped through.
Memphis, you've been here a while, like, or is this your first day here? I apologize if you've been here longer than that, but the name caught me off guard. Either way, glad to have you.
I mean, obviously he's a Grizzly fan, right?
I mean, I would assume.
And I'm curious to think, like, how does he feel about Dylan Brooks? I'm curious.
I think if I was a Memphis fan, I would hate Dylan Brooks because it's kind of the same reason why I hated Baker Mayfield. Like, don't talk shit, and then you go in there and then you get the crap kicked out of you.
Like, I need to get some water.
Like
keep talking.
Like, you look like an idiot if you do that. Nobody, like, it's awesome if you talk shit and then you go back it up. Like, that's great. That's what every fan wants from a player. Go talk shit, drop 30 points, hold their best player to 10 points on sub 500 shooting. Any fan is going to love that. But when you talk shit and then you get beat, and sometimes beat badly, that's annoying because then that person looks like an idiot. And in turn, it represents you who also look like an idiot.
He can go, he said, bro. Get Brooks the fuck out.
That's exactly how I would feel.
Dude's a problem. He's a distraction, and he's not a good. Like, it'd be different if he was great and he could back it up. That'd be one thing. But if he's just a fucking mouth talking that shit, being disruptive, he didn't help the team. You know what I mean? So let him go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how good of a coach Udoka is with the Rockets. He's got some clay to work with there. So,
Sim, what's up, bro? Good to see you, my man. Symmetry is a Rockets fan. He hates the Raptors. So don't ever mistake him for a Raptors fan out there, man. He definitely supports the Houston Rockets. That's his squad, and they're young and they suck, but they got Udoka now. So
he might not suck for long. I mean, listen, every team that sucks and has sucked for a couple years, is in a rebuilding phase. They got some blocks there. So
No, they got some talent. They got some talent, but I'm saying it's going to start with coaching. Udoka now gives them a fresh start at coaching, and let's see if they are a subpar middle of the pack team next year. They could win the lottery, get a great draft pick. They could be relevant.
I think they already picked the lottery, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they did. I don't remember what pick they got though. I don't know what pick they got.
I don't think they got the first.
No, maybe not the first.
I think the Pistons got the first.
I'd like to know what Rockets draft pick. They got the 17th overall pick. Selected for Jabari Smith.
No, the Rockets don't.
Oh, no, they got the third pick. They took Brandon Miller. No, I was looking at 2022. They got the third pick.
They didn't. No, the draft hasn't happened yet.
It says with the third pick in the 2023 NBA draft, the Houston Rockets select Brandon Miller.
John, the draft hasn't happened yet. Maybe that's a mock draft.
Maybe. I don't know. Oh yeah, it was NBA mock draft. My bad.
Yeah. I think that's who they're projecting them to pick. I think the Detroit Pistons have the first one. They're obviously going to go with Mr. Wembanyama. And then we're going to see how that freak is, because that dude is crazy looking.
Good night, Laney. Thanks for stopping by. Sure we appreciate you.
I'm sure we'll talk about him at some point in time.
Wembanyama is going to be probably the biggest, probably be the most exciting to cover, I think. If he plays out, he's going to be the most fun to cover. I also said that about
there's never been a prospect like him, John.
What the fuck did I say? What was his name? Help me.
Who?
Oh my God. Why? Zion. I remember being excited about Zion and being like, yo, I cannot wait to talk about Zion. The lottery's May 16th. Thank you, Sim. I got ahead of myself.
I wasn't necessarily a huge Zion fan. When he came out when he first played, he actually played higher than I thought he was going to play. But there are people. This is the last thing I'll say about Wembanyama. But there are people that say, if LeBron and Wembanyama were in the same draft, and you knew exactly how LeBron James's career was going to play out, they'd still pick Wembanyama. That's how crazy
that sounds like. That sounds like the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard.
Because that's how good of a prospect Wembanyama is. He's literally the perfect prospect. Now,
well,
whether or not that equates to the amount of success, that's going to be up to interpretation. That's going to be determined by the play of the guy. But injuries can happen. I mean, things can happen. But as a pure prospect, he is the perfect prospect. He's the prospect that literally you make in video games.
Devils and Maple Leafs moving on. Stanley Cup playoffs. Discussed about 9 times.
Didn't even know.
I haven't watched a fucking lick of the NHL. I'm not gonna lie. Not a lick. Not a little bit.
Yeah, Scoot's getting underrepresented in this draft because he's just a normal guy. He's not the freak. like I'm sure he's very good. I've seen tape on him. He seems very nice. He seems very worthy of a first pick overall. But yeah, Wembanyama is going to take all the oxygen out of that room.
That's the dude.
All right, final thoughts, John. You got anything?
Oh man, it's been a long time since we did a show, and I feel like I forgot shit. I feel like we forgot shit. I feel like we didn't cover stuff. I can't remember now. Doesn't matter. My final thoughts are: YouTube highlights do not tell you enough about the players that you think you know, and that's going to you, Nick. That is specifically for you. Okay. I'm very excited for the NFL season to begin.
Yeah, we covered the draft a little bit, Sam.
Yeah, we did. We did. Nick talked about the Browns a lot and how they missed on all the picks and didn't take the guys he likes. And I tried to use a little bit of the symmetry thought mentality in the discussion. Izzy, Vegas was incredible. It really was. We had a lot of fun. We really did. I think there's a part of me that's still in Vegas. And it may be slaying pigs. There is this game. There's this slot machine. It's called Rake and Bacon.
I've nicknamed
It's about this pig. It's about this pig that, once you play, every time you spin, the pig coins go into the pig like a piggy bank, right? And the pig gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And basically, the point of the entire game is to explode the pig. You got to blow up the pig.
If you blow up the pig, you get a jackpot. You get the jackpot bonus. And 99 times out of 100, you get the mini, which is basically like $11.
I was slaying pigs. I was playing the pigs at every casino in Vegas. I found the piggy machine. I sat down. I played and I played. I blew up the pigs. I didn't win shit because Vegas wasn't built on losers. I'm sorry. Vegas wasn't built on winners. I'm sorry. Yeah, blowing the pig is crazy. Big pause. Big pause.
It became an obsession.
It did. It really did.
John would literally put like $100, $200 in a machine when the pig was kind of swelled up to win $11, and he was happy to do it. He was happy to do it.
I wasn't.
As long as he slayed the pig, he was happy to do it.
I would put in about $50, and then if that $50 didn't blow up the pig, I had to slide in another $50, and usually $100 gets the job done. The only problem was that $100 was $200, and I just never left. I should have cashed out. Should have cashed out and moved along, but I couldn't. I was stuck. I was drunk and happy. I was drunk and happy, Scott. I was drunk and happy. I really was. Nick is the shittiest blackjack player I have ever seen in my entire life. I mean, Nick can't count.
Help it when the dealer
he can't count to 21. He just can't.
Like when the dealer keeps getting 20s and 21s, you lose. That's the name of the game.
Guys, here's a fun story. This is a fun story. Nick and I and a few of the guys went to a show called, it was a Mentalist that was pretty awesome. The guy was awesome. So the Mentalist throws a few Frisbees out into the crowd so that if you catch the Frisbee, you're a guest on stage. Okay. And the idea of the Frisbees is that it's random. It's this, so the folks that come up on stage are not part of the act, right? Nick catches a Frisbee. He's going to be one of the guys to go up. However, there's a guy on the other side of the room that, if you ask me, the guy on the other side of the room was part of the act. You can't change my mind.
I mean, he beat me in rock, paper, scissors, John. What do you want from me?
He beat you at rock, paper, scissors because you suck at rock, paper, scissors. And the idea was that Nick and this guy, one side of the room had to cheer for Nick, and one side of the room had to cheer for said stranger, right? Said stranger gets a few yells. Our side of the room is loud. Nick gets a ton of screams. Tons of people screaming for Nick. Very few people screaming for this other chump. So
it was close.
It wasn't close, Nick. It was our side of the room was much louder for you. Anyway, so the guy on the guy on the stage is like, you know what? We're gonna settle it with a good old game of rock, paper, scissors. In my mind, immediately, I'm like, Jesus Christ, Nick sucks at this. He sucks at rock, paper, scissors. So it's time, rock, paper, scissors. Nick is the rock, right? I don't know what the other guy also had rock, so it was irrelevant. So now this is for all the glory. Rock, paper, scissors, and Nick gives his best rock, paper, scissors with a this.
No,
This is
I threw out rock again.
It was not. Your hand was this.
I threw out
You
rock
did
again.
this.
You
did this.
No, I threw out rock again. He had paper.
He didn't. You did this. You had a stroke. You just did this. I don't understand. So even the guy even the mentalist is like, what the hell is that? And Nick's got this going on.
Well,
Here's
the thing. They didn't specify the rules of rock, paper, scissors. They didn't specify the rules. You got to specify either you shoot on 3 or it's 1, 2, 3, shoot. So I wasn't sure what was specified there.
What do you mean? It was called, it's 1, 2, 3 is as good as rock, paper, scissors.
No, sometimes people go, he went on 3. He went 1, 2, 3. And then
okay.
Shot.
All right.
Sometimes
rock,
you go 1,
paper,
2,
scissors.
shoot.
And you shot with a fucking
either way I lost.
Trimmer.
Either way I lost.
You threw out a hand trimmer.
Either way I
There's
lost.
no hand tremors in rock, paper, scissors.
Either way I lost on rock, paper, scissors. So there you go.
Pissers.
I'm going to do a final thoughts and then we'll get out of here. First of all, real quick final thoughts on the Browns draft. I didn't touch on it. They drafted a quarterback in the 5th round. I forget, Dorian Thompson something. Anyways, I'm going to talk about the YouTube tape. Chris Sims thinks he's really good. He has a lot of speed. He has a very good throwing arm. A lot of the reads and stuff he's not the greatest on, but I actually really like the pick. I just didn't touch on that, so I wanted to touch on it real quick. The other thing I wanted to say was big props to TL for coming out and coming to dinner with us. TL actually lives in Vegas, so TL actually met us out for dinner one night, and we had a really great time, and wanted to give him a shout out.
Absolutely, right? Yes. Shout out to TL and his young lady, man. They're a beautiful couple. We really had a great night, man. We had dinner out. It was really nice, man. We enjoyed it. Fair, good to see you, bro. How you doing, my man? I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. TL and his girl came out, man. They had dinner with us. We had great conversation. Just a hell of a good time, man. TL, man, shout out to you and your beautiful lady.
And they were the only ones that won too.
Yes, they did. They cleaned house at Blackjack. They are fucking good.
Went home winners, those two.
Do you know why they went home winners? Because they can count. They can count.
Because they stopped eventually.
Yeah, we had a great time, man. It was a nice time. I don't know. I really want to go back and collect my soul. I feel like I left it there somewhere between 8 casinos. I'd really like to find it again and put it back in my being. So that would be fantastic. Fair, always good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Nick and I did a longer show than we anticipated, but it was good conversation. We missed going live. We'd been away for some time now. Listen, the horsey giveaways, the PSA graded cards are not over. We've got quite a few here, family. I've got a beautiful Deebo Samuel that I'd like to give away on the next night of the races. I've got a Devonta Smith right here. This is a beautiful card right here. This is a mint 10. I got a beautiful Trey Lance. I've got a really nice Brandon Ayuk. This is a beautiful card. This is a PSA 10 as well. I got another Ayuk. I got Olave. If anybody wants to win Olave, I got a Garrett Wilson and another Ayuk, fam. So we got to do these giveaways, guys. We're gonna do the horsey giveaway. We're gonna go live. We're gonna do a night at the races, and give away these badass cards. And what do we got? What's that? Fair. We'll be back, bro. We usually go live Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'd love for you to get in on it, Sim. I'd love for you to get on it, Fair. Izzy, she's always in here. Scott's always here. Love for you guys to win some badass cards. And any suggestions that you guys, any players that you'd like, hit me up in the DMs and let me know. And I'll try to get one. I really have a great contact to get these cards. They're all completely legit PSA certified. They're really awesome, man. They're great cards, and I'd love to give them away, man. And we enjoy it. So we do a night at the races. Maybe next Tuesday. Maybe next Tuesday we'll do a night at the races, and let you guys get in on it. Anything else, Nick, before we roll?
No, that's it. Next week, Tony should be back. So, yeah, we'll have that to look forward to. So,
yeah, we'll get Tony back, and we'll do the damn thing. I'll definitely look for Juwan Jennings, no doubt about it. I will definitely look for one. Outside of that, Greenlaw 2A, I can look for Greenlaw. That's it, family. I really have nothing more to say, man. I'm excited about the draft picks. We'll see where they go as far as San Francisco 49ers are concerned. And our fan base. I don't know. Yeah, Juice. We'll definitely get Izzy a use check. No doubt. We know how much she loves Juice. Listen, family, I appreciate every single one of you that stopped out tonight, supported the channel, kicked it with Nick and I. We appreciate you. We're grateful for the time that you spent always listening to these two guys ramble on and on. Without you guys, we are not a channel. So we appreciate you. Good night. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon. Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Like and subscribe, family. We'll see you again. Sim, Fair, we appreciate you. Later, fam.